Good afternoon and welcome. It's good to have you here this afternoon for this very, very important topic. We're here to talk about gun violence in the city of St. Louis and an important effort that's being undertaken by a very quality organization to address it. Some of the violence plaguing some of our neighborhoods is caused by drugs and guns, but a lot of it is the spur-of-the-moment disputes that escalate into gunfire. Today, a family is laying Marcus Johnson to rest. He was just 6 years old. A victim of some kind of conflict that escalated into a gun battle. An innocent child caught between the crossfire of adults making bad decisions. We all should be outraged. We all should be saddened. The same dynamics were part of a shooting that injured a toddler. A fight that escalated into gunfire. Police are going after the criminals who are armed to the hilt with no regard for human life. And I want to thank Chief Dotson and the men and women of the St. Louis Police Department for their good work. And certainly want to let them know that we support them and appreciate the challenges that you all face on our streets and in our neighborhoods. But the police department cannot solve these problems alone. All of us must take a strong stand to change our violent culture and to make a serious stand against people who illegally use guns to settle their disputes, to argue over drugs or a girlfriend, and hurt and kill others out of anger or just plain stupidity. All of us should help the police. All of us should help one another. Part of that is to intervene in the disputes before they go too far, and that's what we're here to talk about today. And that's part of the program that Controller has supported and that we're talking about here today. We're allocating $55,000 to Better Family Life to help people learn conflict resolution, coping skills, and help with challenges that are causing frustrations in their lives. It's a component of Better Family Life's Neighborhood Alliance model, an innovative program that focuses on getting resources to the families and individuals inside of the criminal hotspots in our neighborhoods. It's designed to directly reach the people who may not know what kind of help is just around the corner. Better Family Life has been working on 3 pilot neighborhood alliances in Penrose, Hamilton Heights, and Academy, all of which have seen a significant drop in crime during the past couple of years. The work goes hand in hand with the good police work. The partnership we've developed with Better Family Life will now add another layer of support to the families in these neighborhoods. I want to thank James Clark and Better Family Life for being a role model and for carrying the messages and resources into homes, neighborhoods, churches, and social circles. No one knows better than some of the men who courageously have turned their lives around and are now use their stories to help Better Family Life stop someone else from living their same mistakes. James will tell you how this part of our anti-violence campaign will work. James?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam Comptroller, Chief. First, we want to give thanks and honor to God, who's the giver and the sustainer of all of our lives. When you look at the St. Louis metropolitan area, the chief issue facing our community right now is crime and violence. The Neighborhood Alliance model has 4 core components, which is direct outreach and neighborhood engagement, family and household assessments, agency and organization referral, and neighborhood-based case management. We believe that many of our high crime neighborhoods have become resource deserts, places where individuals and families do not know where to go for help. Through the Neighborhood Alliance model, we're able to direct them to resource providers that are fully capable of meeting their needs, stabilizing their families. We believe that one family can change a block. One block can change a neighborhood. And we believe that through this Neighborhood Alliance model, we will demonstrate its ability to change the city. This will allow us the opportunity to start a 3-phase project. Phase 1 will be visibility and outreach. Phase 2 will be neighborhood engagement, and we will also look to involve the clergy. When you look at the St. Louis metropolitan area, churches have a presence in all of our more challenged neighborhoods. This model has a very simple staffing pattern. It calls for 2 outreach specialists per neighborhood. 2 outreach specialists who will be trained in neighborhood engagement, neighborhood assessment, and also 1 case manager per neighborhood. This case manager will provide neighborhood-based case management. St. Louis, this total operational budget is close to $500,000. We need the support of the corporate community right now as we head into the summer months. We have forecasted a very active summer, and we understand that crime reduction, it will not come from the St. Louis City Police Department. Crime and neighborhood destabilization, it is a family issue and it's a neighborhood issue. Through the Neighborhood Alliance model, we will be able to strengthen families and change the violent culture in our neighborhoods. All you have to do is take one look at the front page of today's St. Louis Post-Dispatch. We have got to do what is necessary to stem this tide, and the best and most effective way to do it, St. Louis, is to be active in our more challenged neighborhoods with neighborhood outreach and direct individual and family engagement. I want to thank the mayor and the police chief and Comptroller Darlene Green for understanding the need right now. St. Louis, we're at a very pivotal point. We will either become a community or we will slip into chaos. Thank you very much.
In police work, we always look for partners, and there's not a better partner than Better Family Life and James Clark. If you think about the job of law enforcement or a police officer, it's to keep people safe. And we do that in a variety of ways, but the one that people most think about are arrests. But if you think about it at its most root level, if we have to arrest someone, something along the way has failed already, because the social service programs should be there. Conflict resolution, job training, mental health issues. We should really, as a community, come together to address those. And the mayor talked about 6-year-old Marcus Johnson. I don't think of anything more tragic in a community when we see violence and young people impacted by the violence. And even as police officers, it's hard for us sometimes to contain the emotion that goes along with that violence. And if you had a chance to read a blog that was written by a police officer that helped transport that young boy to the hospital, I'm going to read just a little bit of that blog because it really sums up what we're here today to talk about. The police officer wrote, "It was awkward because we were all hoping. We also knew it was going to take a miracle for that little boy to live." He was not granted a miracle that day. But as we're here talking today, the Neighborhood Alliance offers an opportunity to go into neighborhoods and perhaps change someone's life so we don't have another Marcus Johnson, so we don't have another act of senseless violence, so we don't have young children that are victimized. And as James talked about the shooting that happened yesterday, just to give you an example of what we're talking about, this is one of the guns that was discarded along the interstate as the suspects tried to make good their escape last night. We have to do better as a society and as a community. And I think it's any police chief's job to talk about the challenges that we have. In the first 77 days of this year, there have been 114 guns stolen in the city of St. Louis. Those guns automatically go into the hands of criminals, people that we need to do outreach for, to offer jobs to, education, conflict resolution. The senseless act of shooting when you don't know how to resolve a problem leads to more deaths than I care to think about. So I'm a strong supporter of Better Family Life. I'm a strong supporter of the Neighborhood Alliance. programs like this do have an impact, they do make a difference, and ultimately, at the end of the day, they leave our city safer and a better place to live. So thank you, James, for everything you're doing.
Right. Any questions?
Can you elaborate on what conflict resolution program looks like?
We take a very realistic perspective as it relates to delivering conflict resolution in our more challenged neighborhoods. There is no textbook written for it. The mentality and the normal behavior patterns have not been evaluated to the point where we can really use any new methodologies. So we do very grassroots and very direct discussions where we challenge individuals to raise their tolerance level. I mean, we have individuals who have been shot and killed for something as insignificant as an eye movement. We've had fathers taken from their children over small neighborhood disputes over small amounts of money. So when we talk about conflict resolution, we're really talking about dealing with it in a way that is relatable to the individuals who are in our neighborhoods, who really need to be set down and talked to in a very aggressive way. We can no longer be passive with this conflict resolution message. So to communicate to a wolf, you have to communicate like a wolf.
Who will this program be targeted at? In that, I mean, we're looking at young people. Is it people in their teens, 20s? The two victims in the shooting yesterday, the parents were 21-year-old young men. Is this across all generations?
Yes, the Neighborhood Alliance model calls for direct neighborhood engagement in targeted neighborhoods. Through this model, we do an assessment of the entire family. We do household assessments. Then we deliver resources to each individual in the home. So to approach it and say that we can only address the needs of the children, you may have parents who are unemployed. You may have parents that have a chemical dependency. So we have to go into our neighborhoods we have to get surgical. We have to target neighborhoods, and then we have to come in with enough resources to meet the need of the entire household.
And you were saying that you're hiring outreach specialists. Is that where the funding today will go?
Yes, funding will go towards hiring outreach specialists. It will also give us the ability to do training for churches in our more challenged neighborhoods. We patterned this after the ceasefire model in Chicago, but where ceasefire looked to provide intervention for conflicts, the Neighborhood Alliance model seeks to target neighborhoods with neighborhood-based resource delivery and neighborhood-based case management. So this is a more enriched twist to a proven program. It actually goes a couple of steps further.
Had this program existed when they were young men, or even previous months or a year ago, what kind of impact do you think that might have had on their lives? What kind of impact do you think that would have on future possible victims?
We believe that the Neighborhood Alliance model will go a long way towards changing the culture of crime and violence in our more challenged neighborhoods. We believe that this model will prove effective, and it needs to be brought to scale and look and serve all of our challenged neighborhoods. We think that it will save lives. So far, the model has been up and running now for 2 years, and we have been able to assist individuals with employment. We've been able to assist individuals with their educational pursuits. We have been able to assist individuals with anger management training and drug treatment. So we do a total resource wraparound service to individuals, families, and neighborhoods. Neighborhood saturation of resources. We've got to begin to be on the front end. We have got to begin to challenge the current culture because the longer it takes for us to get in our neighborhoods and deliver resources, the longer we will deal with this issue of crime and violence, and it'll only get progressively worse. We've got to get to the root. The root is in our families, and the root is in our neighborhoods.
And I agree with James completely, and let's not talk about the two men yesterday, but let's talk about what I see and what police officers see on the street. Conflict resolution is probably, communication at its basic core, is probably something that we as a society have lost a little bit of tangibility around. We like to tweet and text and use social media, and the face-to-face interaction has really taken a back seat to the advantages of technology, if you will. We need to be in the schools, in the neighborhoods, teaching kids that when you have a beef with someone, that you don't immediately resort to violence. We saw this weekend a fight in the Del Mar Loop. Guns were introduced into the fight. We saw a fight in a North St. Louis park. Guns are introduced into the fight when one side loses. We have to do something to change the culture, to change the dependence, the reliance, and really increase people's sensitivity around the humanity that we are. We've seen that in these fights, people just become faceless, nameless, and there's no humanity associated with it. James's program teaches people to value human life, to value people. That's what we have to get back to. So those men yesterday are just symptomatic of the problems that we face, where people feel discarded. James described resource deserts. We have to do something about that. We cannot arrest our way out of this. That's why the partnership with A Better Family Life, the Neighborhood Alliance, is a path. And we talked about maybe that is the miracle that changes somebody's life. And if we change 1 or 2 or 3 lives along the way, that's what we have to do. Talked about one house at a time, one family at a time. That's how root and core this has to be.
You were saying that crime has already reached past years in those two neighborhoods.
Yeah, and James has the data to prove this, to back this up. What we talked about are hotspot delivery of resources, and I'm stealing a phrase from James there, hotspot resource delivery in portions of those neighborhoods. And in those impacted areas, they've seen a reduction in violence, gun violence, and murder. So we know that it works. We've seen it. I've seen it in other cities that work. Baltimore, their ceasefire program, Chicago ceasefire program. This is where we should be focusing our attention and where it should be, not incarceration. I will arrest anybody that needs to be arrested, but we need to make sure that we've had the programs on the front end or on the back end to change people's lives. If people are incarcerated and come out of the system, we can't expect any significant change in their life unless we offer jobs, unless we offer conflict resolution, unless we offer substance abuse training. It has to be a total package with law enforcement.
And I want to stress that, of course, we spend a lot of money on law enforcement, and our police department does a tremendous job. But this isn't just about law enforcement. A big part of reducing crime is really addressing it on the front end, to try to create an environment and try to create opportunities to keep individuals from choosing a life of crime, and even giving the mentorship or the guidance in order to teach them how to deal with just simple disputes between themselves so they don't resort to violence. A lot of programs that we're partnering with other organizations on. We do through various organizations and agencies within city government, early childhood programs, after-school programs. Our summer youth, STL youth jobs programs has really been getting bigger and bigger. We'll have over 2,000 jobs this year with the help of the state. That's very, very important. There's job training programs. We have human services delivery. A lot of things that we're doing and a lot of resources available. What's different here is, as James so eloquently described, was what they're doing differently is the outreach is into the neighborhoods, into the families, and doing an assessment of what the issues are, what the needs are, and then connecting in a better way, in a more direct way with the families to the services that are available. And that's, I can't see why it wouldn't be a successful program. They have all the success efforts that shows that this stuff does work, and we're 100% behind it. What we're going to try to do is make sure that we help try to find some more additional resources to do some more of this work as well. But the work that they've done so far has already demonstrated that it's having an impact, and we need to not only pay attention to it, we need to support it.
All right.
Any other
Very good.
questions?
Thank you. Very good. Appreciate everything.